Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Mini Educators. I'm Mini Educator 1,
And I'm Mini Educator 2.
and today we are coming here with a brand new video. We have not posted in so long, but we're here with a great video. We're going over some biochemistry STAAR questions. Again, as the description says, the following questions are pulled from different STAAR exams that cover biochemistry. So we're just going to be explaining different ones, working together to just make sure that y'all understand these topics, because we definitely know that we've covered them a lot. But yeah, let's just go ahead and start with the first question. Take it away, Educator 2.
Question 1. A table of 4 types of carbohydrates is shown. Type of carbohydrate: cellulose, major component of plant cell walls. Chitin, major component of fungal cell wall and arthropod exoskeleton. Glycogen, stored in liver and muscle cells, broken down to glucose when blood glucose levels decrease. Starch, stored in plant roots and seeds, provides food for seeds to germinate or for animal consumption. Which list correctly matches the functions to the types of carbohydrates? F. Energy, glycogen and starch. Structure, cellulose and chitin. Energy, cellulose and chitin. Structure, glycogen and starch. H. Energy, chitin and glycogen. Structure, cellulose and starch. J. Energy, cellulose and starch. Structure, chitin and glycogen. So, as we know, it says that starch is used for animal consumption and for seeds to germinate. An animal would consume a plant for its energy. So, starch is a type of energy. And then glycogen is stored in the liver and muscle cells, and it's broken down to release glucose. So this is another type of energy because it's releasing a substance when 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 the substance is at a low concentration. So that's a type of energy. And then structure.
And then,
Um,
oh, wait, let me show them here. And then here, just here, cellulose, major component of plant cell walls. As we know, plant cell walls are just there for structure, which basically just tells you the answer, major component of the plant cell walls. And then chitin is just major component of fungal cell walls, exoskeletons, cell walls, and exoskeletons for structure. But yeah, okay, so is there anything more to add, Mini Educator 2?
F.
Okay, so I'm going to go to the second question. And again, this one was F. Okay. An advertisement for a health supplement for dogs claims to build lean muscle and strengthen tendons and ligaments, as well as provide energy. Which two biomolecules must the supplement contain to provide these benefits? Okay, so let's just take it step by step here. So ignore an advertisement, ignore health supplement, whatever. Just look here. What we're looking for is build lean muscles and strengthen tendons and ligaments and provide energy. So, as we know, growing up, just the main thought is like, how do I grow muscles? Oh, I gotta eat meat. I gotta eat protein. I gotta eat chicken. I gotta eat all that. And what are those? Those are types of proteins. So, there, we just got our answer right there. Proteins right there. And then wait, let me go to this part, as well as provide energy. Now, lipids and carbs provide energy, but here what we know is right here, we know building muscles, that's protein. So there, we just got our answer right there. And then, as well as provide energy, if you want to double check this part, oh, there, carbs provide energy. That's perfect. But we can right away, we can just cross out nucleic acid, H and J, because those don't do anything with this. And then F, we can cross it out because carbs and lipids both provide energy, but they don't build muscles. Well, generally. But yeah. Okay, so let's go on to the next question where Mini Educator 2 will explain it to y'all.
Students were given a list of 7 elements and asked to identify the 4 elements that are most abundant in biomolecules. Which table correctly identifies the 4 most abundant elements in biomolecules? So, there's a specific way that the biomolecules are built. So carbs and lipids are both made of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, which means that um they're natural components of life. And um lipids also contain carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, but they also contain nitrogen. And then amino acids contain carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and phosphorus. And as we can see, s- so B is wrong because well, there's no carbon, and carbon's the most reoccurring element. C is wrong because it says there's fluorine. There's not. And then D is wrong because it says there's iodine. There's not. The only answer left is A, and genuinely, A is it. It's not completely accurate, but it's the closest we can get to like
Yeah,
the average.
because what tricked me with this question first looking at it is I was like, there's no phosphorus, but then here it says most abundant in biomolecules, and phosphorus wouldn't be greatly abundant. Okay, so the answer is A for this one. Again, y'all can like right here, y'all can just pause the question and then take a look at it. Um, and then come back and we'll explain it to you. Okay, so let's see here. Proteins and carbs have many functions in the body of an organism. Specific proteins and carbs perform specific tasks. Information about a protein and a carb is given below. Ferritin. Ferritin is a protein containing iron, which is needed by all living things. Iron is found in hemoglobin and in cytochromes, which function in metabolism. Free iron can damage proteins, lipids, and nucleotides. Glycogen. Glycogen is a carb that consists of glucose molecules. It can be hydrolyzed as glucose as needed by an organism. Okay, so this question, there isn't really something that you just go straight forward and choose your answer. You need to use process of elimination. So here asks us, how are ferritin and glycogen similar in their primary functions for an organism? Both store materials needed by the organism. A, both store materials needed by the organism. B, both store energy used by the organism. C, both support the structure. D, both store information. So right here, right now, we can cross out D. D is not correct. Oh, okay. Let's not look at it like that. Let's start at A. Both store materials needed by the organisms. Let's see here. It contains iron, so that's a material that is needed by organisms. And here, uh, glycogen, it's a carb. That's a material that is needed by organisms. So that seems correct. But let's look at the other answers. Both store energy used by the organisms. You're thinking that's correct because glycogen is a carb. But wait, ferritin is a protein. So biomolecules that store energy are carbs and lipids. Protein is not a main one that stores energy. So B would be out. C, both support the structure of the organism. I mean, maybe protein, like structure, maybe, but it's just for carbs, it's not really, you have to think about it with these types of questions from exams like the state exams, they want to think of it as like a general term. Like we didn't really learn that carbs help with structure. So so B and C are out. D, both store information for the organism. It's not really information. Like maybe like genetic information. Maybe they're talking about genetic information. That would not be protein or carbs. They don't really store information, they only store material for the organism like iron and carbs. But yeah, so next question will be explained by Mini Educator 2. Take it away.
Different nucleotides are used as building blocks of DNA. Which of the following can be used to distinguish one nucleotide from another? So, all right, I have F, the nitrogenous base. G, the shape of the deoxyribose sugar. H, the length of a phosphate group. J, the type of fatty acid. So F is saying that the nitrogenous base changes the nucleotide, and that's true because there's four different types of nitrogenous bases. There's guanine, cytosine, adenine, and thymine, which is all found in DNA. G, the shape of the deoxyribose sugar. There's not really a change in the shape. Well, there is, but it's mostly in the nitrogenous base. So G is kind of wrong, but and F seems more right, but let's keep going. The length of the phosphate group, the length is approximately the same for all of them. And then the type of fatty acid, it doesn't really have anything to do with DNA, so F is the correct answer to it.
Yup. Uh, yeah. Um, okay, so now we're gonna go on to question 6. Sorry, we just had to pause for a bit of an intermission. But question 6, let's see here. The complex carb pictured below are made by linking molecules of glucose. In all three complex carbs, the subunits of glucose are bonded together differentially because they have different structures. They most likely A, contain different chemical elements, B, form different proteins, C, carry different nucleotides, or D, perform different functions. Okay, um, so this one is a bit of a complicated one. While making this quiz, we even had trouble with it. So it says the complex carbs are made by linking molecules. So we know that we're looking at the linking molecules. And it says in all three complex carbs, the subunits of glucose are bonded together differently. So we know right away that they're linked differently because they have different structures. So they're linked. So right here it's saying they're linked differently and they have different structures. So when something has a different structure, you think about it like this. I'm not really going to do process of elimination. I'm just going to get to the answer. So, like, okay, let's say me and mini educator one have different structures in our body. We perform different functions. I might be able to carry, I might be able to um, spin a pencil around my finger because I have flexible fingers, but he may not. So then there we know that it's D. A is wrong because bonded together differently. They're still going to be bonded together by the same thing, and having different structures wouldn't be like really chemical element. And then they form different proteins. It doesn't really specify that in the question. And then C, they carry different nucleotides because they have different structures. They most likely like there is a low chance they might, but it's not going to be most likely. It's just going to be because they have different structures, just common sense. They have different structures. They're probably going to carry different functions. Okay, mini educator 2, carry out question 7. Okay.
A student prepared for a hike. A student preparing for a hike wants to pack a snack that has biomolecules that provides quickly available energy but few excess calories. Which nutrition label lists the best combination of biomolecules that provide quickly available energy, which provides the fewest calories from each type of biomolecule? So, A, it doesn't have a lot of calories, but it has no carbs. So A is out of the picture. And then B, it has like an acceptable amount of calories, but there's not a lot of carbs. And
Compared to
then
the other answer
C,
choices.
and then C, um, the calories are way too high. And yeah, the carbs are like there's a high amount, but it's still a lot of calories, and it says as few. And D is as few calories as possible, which is 140, and then there's 22 grams of carbs, and that's more than B has. So D is the correct answer.
Yeah. And also, I just wanted to say is with this question, make sure you know for exams with biochemistry, you definitely need to know that lipids provide like their stored energy, like their long-lasting energy. Carbs are quick energy, quick forms of energy. But yeah, this answer is D. Let's go on to the next question. I'll explain it to y'all. Okay, question 8. The differences between two molecules include the type of sugar that forms a section of the molecules and the identity of one of the four nitrogenous bases that make up another section of the molecule. These two molecules are known as A, proteins, B, lipids, C, nucleotides, or D, complex carbs. Okay, just give me a second. Okay, so right here we can see that they are talking about, okay, so they're talking about two molecules, and the differences between them is the type of sugar they have that form a section of the molecule and the identity of the four nitrogenous bases that make up another section. So for this one, let's just do process of elimination. It's most likely not going to be D because we don't really do a lot with that in ninth grade biology. And then let's see A. A is probably not going to be correct because it doesn't include the type. Okay, so proteins don't really specify with sugars. They don't really specify with that type of general sciences to where it has something to do with sugars. So that would be out. And then you're thinking like lipids, types of sugars, uh, nitrogenous bases. It doesn't really with the okay, you have to think with the sciences of sugars and nitrogenous bases. Lipids just does not add up to those. The only one that does add up is nucleotides because the differences between two nucleotide acids depends on the type of sugar that form a section of it and the identity of one of the four nitrogenous bases. Uh, but yeah, so it is C for this question. And again, if y'all are confused about any of these questions, please just let us know in the comments below. Okay, now for question 9, Mini Educator 2, take it away.
Carbohydrates are more easily metabolized than lipids. However, on a gram for gram basis, lipids provide cells with more. Well, carbs are a great source of quick energy that you need immediately. That's why it's the type of energy that you would use in like a 20-second run. And then a lipid is a better source of energy because it can last you for much longer. But it's sort of a last it's sort of a last option because if you use lipids, it's gonna be kind of hard to use it, and it's um lipids are also better at energy because they provide so much. So J is the correct answer.
Yeah, also something that you need to know is just remember with the word carbs and lipids, just remember energy. That's just stuck with me this entire year is just carbs and lipids. I just know that they have something to do with energy. Carbs is quick energy, lipids is long-term energy. And also lipids and carbs have nothing to do with nitrogen. Proteins is a whole other biomolecule. And then structure, yeah, okay, so lipids do put like the blubber on like animals. That's what they help with, or like are fats and stuff, but that's also not a big term for structure. But yeah, the only answer that's going to make sense is J. Okay, so next question, question 10. Which of the following biomolecules typically contains both nitrogen and phosphate? I'm about to teach y'all a lesson. So remember, biomolecules are carbs, lipids, um, carbs, oh goodness, I think I forgot. Carbs. Oh no. Carbs, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. Um, so remember, you need to remember the word CHO. And you need to remember the word CHO. So carbs and lipids are CHO. CHO, CHO. Carbs and lipids are carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, CHO. And then protein is going to be CHON, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. And then nucleic acids is going to be CHONPT. It's going to be carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and phosphorus. So here it says, which of the following biomolecules typically contains both nitrogen and phosphate? Let me think. The only biomolecule that follows CHOMT is nucleic acid. CHOMT. Nucleic acid is CHOMT because it's carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and phosphorus and phosphate. I apologize. But yeah, yo, this has been a rough subject. We did the subject about 3 months ago. We reviewed a lot on this before we did this video. But yeah, so it's gonna be on phosphate. So CHOMT is carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and phosphate. So that's for nucleic acid. I apologize. But yeah. So next question, question 11, Mini Educator 2, take it away.
Proteins and polysaccharides are polymers. These polymers are formed by dehydration synthesis, which statement correctly identifies the difference in the structure of proteins and polysaccharides. So for question 11, F, only polysaccharides are comprised of repeated units of cytosine, adenine, guanine, and thymine. Only proteins are formed from amino acids joined by peptide bonds. H, only polysaccharides can be folded and twisted to very specific shapes. J, only proteins can be large molecules with thousands of subunits. So F is wrong because that's what an amino acid is. It has different um it has different nitrogenous bases, and then that makes up a protein. And then G is wrong. I mean, G is right because because amino acids are joined by peptide bonds and polysaccharides aren't. H is wrong because uh, uh, because proteins can be folded in a specific way to make, like, for an example, like an enzyme or something. And then J, only proteins can be large molecules with thousands of subunits. A polysaccharide is a large molecule that has thousands of subunits. So J is wrong. So G is the correct answer.
And that is it for this video, y'all. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification button right next to the subscribe button to be notified next time we upload a new video. And if y'all want us to do questions 12 through 17 in the next video, make sure to comment it down below. And if y'all really just don't want a part 2 and instead of want us to go over Algebra 1, 8th grade science, 3rd grade math, anything, just comment it down below and we will do it. And Mini Educator 2 has something to add to this.
Please like and subscribe. It really helps. Subscribing notifies you for the next video, and liking tells us that you want another part.
Yeah,
Thank you.
so if y'all, like right now, like if y'all want a part 2 on this video, make sure to like this, because if we're going through analytics through YouTube and we see, this got an overly over average liked video, I think they want a biology video, so we're just gonna do it. But yeah, that is going to be it, and we will see y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.